There's no business like show business. From actors, writers, directors, and behind-the-scenes crew, everyone loves being part of the biz, and everybody loves those Hollywood stories. My name is Bob McCullough. I'm married to Suzanne McCullough, and between the two of us, we've got over 200 hours writing, producing, directing, or acting in some of the most classic television series and movies of all time. We've had pretty high-profile careers working with a wide range of celebrity talent and helping beginners get their start in the business, so people have always told us we should write a book. Well, we think getting our story out this way could be a lot more fun, so let's jump in.
Chicken joke!
I'm Mrs. Cleaver.
From Television City in Hollywood.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller plays.
We can rebuild him. We have the technology.
Nanu.
Baby, you're the great.
Here comes the judge.
More cowbell.
Not special.
There's anything wrong with that?
And now for something completely different.
There's no business like show business, like no business.
Welcome to Where Hollywood Hides, episode 15.
Wow.
My name is Bob McCullough,
And my name is Suzanne McCullough.
and we're happy you joined us on this 15th episode.
That's pretty good.
We always impress ourselves with how prolific we are, and
We're easily impressed by
I
ourselves.
suppose.
Anyway, it's been a few weeks since we've done a podcast. We've been very busy,
Yes,
and we're back.
we are.
So what are we talking about today?
Well, today, I just want to remind everybody that our podcast is brought to you by Audible.com, where you can get a free audiobook for your MP3 or your iPhone. Just go to our website at wherehollywoodhides.com. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a little link, and you'll get a free audiobook. That's worth $15 right there. Sign up, and you'll be introduced to the world's largest library of audiobooks, and it's kind of addictive.
You know, I ordered a bathing suit.
Off of Amazon?
I did.
Oh, great. Yeah, Amazon's another one of our sponsors, and they're all over our website at wherehollywoodhides.com. Click on any of those links, and you'll get world-class service, and we might make a nickel.
Don't you care about what kind of bathing suit I ordered?
What kind? Okay.
It's a tri-suit.
A tri-suit. Is that like
Yes.
try me?
Oh, very funny. That's good.
No.
No, it's what the triathlons use.
Oh, are you going back out on the course?
No, it just covers a lot.
Oh, I see. So
Makes
it's
it tight.
kind of long legs, long arms thing? or-
Not too long, just
Yeah.
kind of short, like short shorts.
Can you breathe in it? You said it's tight.
Probably not, but it's going to look good.
You're going to look sleek.
Slowly, I'm covering up. Have you seen the latest Hollywood Reporter?
No, I haven't.
It's a very unusual edition because it talks about the Hollywood pets
Hollywood pets.
and how they're pampered.
Oh, you mean like our pet?
Our pet is not nearly as pampered as some of these pets. I mean, you have to listen to this. It's called The Secret Life of a Pet Set. These pets are just pampered beyond belief. There are now dog Pilates, dog yoga, which is called Doja, pet massage, which I give our pet a
I was
massage.
going to say, yeah.
But apparently
Well,
these are real
Can
professionals.
we say the name of our pet? It's like not a secret. Our little dude. We give him a massage every night just to try to shut him up.
And then we have a dog swim coach, a pet acupuncturist.
Are these legitimate businesses?
Yes. Oh, it's a whole
This had to be
articles.
put on.
No, the funniest thing was pet plastic surgery
To do what?
to make them look better,
To make your Shar-Pei look younger?
I guess.
Okay.
And the thing that cracked me up the most was pet pot dispensaries.
Pet pot dispensaries.
Does that mean marijuana?
For the dog?
I think so.
Oh my gosh.
To make them relax.
Hey, there's an idea. Wait. We have this min pin who drives us crazy. He wakes up before we do. He goes to sleep after we go to sleep, and he never stops barking.
He's so type A. We just cannot.
What a great
settle him
idea.
down.
Well, I want the number. I want the number of the pet pot dispensary.
I thought you would like that.
That'd be perfect.
Along those lines, because, we do talk about old Hollywood, they also have an article about The Wizard of Oz and that great, fabulous Karen Terrier dog that they had.
Oh, that was a cute dog.
Wasn't it? Well, apparently there was a gentleman by the name of Carl Spitz who was one of the first dog whisperers in the business, and he turned this little terrier that he had, who was 4 years old, into Toto. And they had some interesting insight on this dog.
So there was nepotism even then.
Yes.
He was a trainer, owned the dog, and That's the dog they used. Perfect.
Yes. The original name of the dog was Terry. This Carl Spitz turned the Cairn Terrier into one of the most popular dogs, the breed, in the whole country.
I'm sure. Even today, people say, "Oh, it looks like Toto."
Well, when we first had kids and we saw The Wizard of Oz for the 30th time, we
wanted Toto.
We looked for that dog.
Right.
And they were kind of hard to find.
Yeah, they are.
Anyway, Toto went on to quite a lucrative career. Terry did. He appeared in 14 films.
You're kidding.
He earned $125 a week on The Wizard of Oz, which really comes out to about $1,600 a week today.
Not bad for somebody that can't talk.
The Munchkins, the day players that played the Munchkins, they only got $40 a day, as opposed to
the dog got more than they did?
Yes.
Oh,
and apparently, one of the last living Munchkins who was interviewed before they passed away, he still had a grudge.
Well, I don't blame him.
Against the fact this poor guy.
Because the Munchkins had to sing and dance and jump around.
And get dressed.
And wear wardrobe and look ridiculous.
So they were getting $40 a day, and the dog was getting $125 a day.
Those Munchkins needed a better agent.
Yes. Toto barked 44 times in The Wizard of Oz. I thought you should know that.
Did you count that?
No, it's documented.
Okay.
He was in more scenes than Judy Garland was in The Wizard of Oz.
Toto was in more scenes than Judy Garland?
Yes.
That's not possible.
That's...
We're going to have to go to Amazon and buy it and check it out.
Anyway, I thought that was very interesting because this month the Hollywood Reporter celebrated the Hollywood pet, and it was just fun read.
Does Toto have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
That's something that I should look up.
I'll bet you anything. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
I'm sure. But which brings me all to realize how mistreated our dog is.
Dude?
Compared to all the other Hollywood dogs. I mean, he does live in a Hollywood household.
All I can tell you is if he barks while we're doing this podcast, he's going back in the car.
Okay, enough about dogs. Enough about dogs. Right. We have been slaving over this book that we're writing. Oh, I'm just dying to tell you what the title is, but I'm not going to tell you. And it's just hard.
Can you tell us what it's about?
Hollywood.
Okay.
Old.
Oh, boy.
No.
The secret's out. It's about Hollywood. Okay.
Okay. That's it. So let's talk about this bad TV show you ended up being.
So last time in episode 14, I had just finished my stint at NBC Productions and done this really fun family pilot with Dick Butkus called Time Out for Dad. Originally titled Kowalski Loves You, probably had 4 other titles in the interim. My agent got busy and found me another gig at Warner Brothers. There was a show it was a cop show, and I had never written or produced a cop show, although I'd done Sheriff Lobo and things like that, comedies. And I didn't audition per se, but my agent sent some material over to Warner Brothers, and Harvey Shepard, who had been, I think he was second in command at CBS at the time, he had just left CBS and had gone to Warner Brothers as really the head of television production. He took a look at my material and referred me to Ronald Cohen, who was a writer-producer on the lot, who had done a couple of feature films, including one called Call to Glory and Twilight's Last Gleaming. These were big films, not big in terms of blockbusters, but they were well-known movies in the 70s. And Ron Cohen was the executive producer of a show called Ohara. And Ohara was a show about a cop portrayed by Pat Morita. And if you remember the Karate Kid movies, he played Mr. Miyagi.
Do you remember what other huge TV show he was in?
Happy Days.
Yes.
Right.
As Arnold.
Right. So he had quite a background. Pat Morita had started as, he called himself the Hip Nip. He was a stand-up comic.
Right. And
broke into film and television. So they gave him his own series after the phenomenal success of Karate Kid, for which I think he was even nominated as a supporting actor. So they gave him this TV show that he co-created, at least he had a co-created credit on it, and it was about a Los Angeles cop.
Did you know how tall he was?
He wasn't very tall, I can tell you that.
Well, and it's just interesting. I don't think they would allow a police officer this short, or maybe they would. I mean, I guess I'm not supposed to say that. But he was 5'3".
Yeah, he's really small.
That's very small for a man.
Very small.
And for a police officer.
Very small. But he played his height up a lot in just his persona and his characters and certainly in his comedy work. But the show was struggling, and they were looking for some new blood on the show. And that means new writing power and things like that.
So they called Dr. Bob.
They called Dr. Bob, quick, come fix our show. And it was kind of like the experience I had on Falcon Crest when they had a pilot that didn't work very well. Only they'd already shot a dozen episodes of this show, and it was about a guy who was an unconventional LA-based Japanese-American police officer, and he didn't even have a sidekick at the time. And the show was just all over the place. It wasn't very good, frankly.
Was he one of the first Asians to be on TV?
Yes, yeah. Actually, there were a couple, but not in lead continuing roles like Pat was. So he had co-created the show with Michael Braverman and John Curry. And when I came on, they kind of reformatted everything, and suddenly it was, he's no longer a straight cop, he's a federal police officer. And I kept asking people... That
sounds boring.
I kept asking people, what does federal police officer mean? Is he in the FBI? Is he in the Secret Service? What is he doing? Is he a Treasury Department guy? And they said, no, just call him a federal police officer. So we were kind of hamstrung by limitations of reality, frankly. And the other thing that was a little hamstringing is that there were so many producers on the show.
How many?
Well, I think I can remember them.
Ballpark figure.
Ballpark figure 6 or 7
wow,
producers.
That's a lot.
There was a guy named Tony Warmby, who was a British guy, and he was really a director, and he was responsible for the so-called look of the show. Tony was really engaging, kind of the British, kind of reminds me of Branson, the Virgin Airlines guy.
Sure.
Richard Branson, that over-the-top personality. Tony's problem was he was dating all the female staff members, all the crew members.
Oh.
He was never around for a meeting because he was at lunch, or he was having drinks with somebody, or he was in a meeting.
He was very social.
He was very social. We would call him a player. And he and Ron hated each other because Ron was really concerned about the scripts and wanted the show to have some coherence to it. They partnered me with a guy who had been a former police officer. He was actually the head of the homicide division in Hollywood, and he had the most unusual name you can imagine, Joe Gunn, the cop.
Right, I do remember him.
So Joe was a little bit older than I. He had written a lot of cop shows. They brought him in for some of his technical expertise, and he and I got busy working on scripts, and we had the most fun I think I've ever had working with somebody because he knew so much about what we were doing. I would describe an action scene and he would say, no, Bob, that's not the way it comes down. Here's how it happens. And he would get up and he would act the part of Pat Morita, the cop. It was great. It was so easy to write with him. Joe and I were basically put in charge of make the show work. Well, it was really difficult because we had Harvey Shepard, new to the studio. We had Pat Morita, who had a lot to say about what went on the show. We had Tony Warmby with his vision. We had Ron Cohen, who really didn't know what he wanted. He just wanted it fast and good, and please don't bother me. Just trusted me to a great extent.
So I don't understand. If there were so many producers, what did you do that the others did not do?
I wrote scripts and I rewrote scripts like crazy.
So you were a writing producer.
Writing producer. My title was Supervising Producer.
So what did they do?
Well, it's hard to say. We had, again, half a dozen producers. Mostly we had long meetings and we fought over things. A lot of arguing went on. Mm-hmm. Halfway through my tenure, and I was only there for the second season, they brought a guy in who was very creative. He had recorded some rock albums. He had written very kind of a big movie in the 70s called Star Chamber that featured Michael Douglas in the lead role. And his name was Roderick Taylor. And Rod Taylor walked in. He looked and acted like Keith Richards, and they bought the entire act.
Wow.
It was very, he and Joe didn't get along at all because Joe was a straight arrow cop. And here's this Keith Richards character coming in, spouting rhyming couplets and poetry. And he wanted to put music in the show. He thought it'd be great if Lieutenant Ohara actually played the guitar. And put a guitar next to Pat Morita, it looks kind of funny because he was so small.
So let's get to what Pat was like and what guest stars you were.
Well, it was amazing, frankly. When you think about television series in those days and the casting power they had, I was amazed at the time how good some of the guest talent was.
So tell us about Pat.
Well,
what was Pat like? Because we all have this preconceived Mr.
Miyagi.
Yeah, who was such a likable character.
Well, first of all,
all the kids liked him.
Right.
All the grown-ups liked him. You just wanted to hug him. You wanted to meet somebody like him.
Well, he was a nice guy. No doubt. But understand one thing.
What was your first impression?
He didn't have any accent at all. He sounded Jewish. He was born in America. He was not a Japanese. He was not
that a problem
acculturated.
for you?
No, but he was always asked to play with this kind of Asian philosopher, and even in Ohara in this show, he took on that persona of being kind of the Buddha
So it's
of
called
every scene.
typecasting.
He was very heavily typecast, and I think it really frustrated him to a great degree. But he was a very funny guy because he was a stand-up comic. The other issue was he was a fall-down drunk, and I would often be called to the set in the early afternoon, right after lunch, and take dialogue he was supposed to do and give it to Robert Clohessy, who played his sidekick, or to Rachel Tacotin, who played their supervisor in the federal police force. That was a real production problem, the fact that Pat really had a serious bout of alcoholism.
So do you think Pat was a little hammered in the Karate Kid, and that's why he was so good? Because he kind of, there was a big scene there where he played drunk
Right.
in Karate Kid because his son had gotten killed in the war.
I've always thought of that. I've always thought that wasn't really acting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, he was a serious alcoholic.
I'm sure he had some demons.
And that's ultimately what killed him.
Sure.
But it was a difficult thing from a production standpoint because the lead of the show was only good from like 9 in the morning until noon, because he would come in quite late and not feel very well.
So guest stars. Let's talk
So
about them.
well, we had people like Cuba Gooding Jr. He played a young gangbanger.
Wow.
Then we had Benicio del Toro. He played a drug dealer. A lot of typecasting went on in those days. But those guys were powerful actors even when they were young.
Sure.
And I was just looking at some old scripts, and I saw that one of the ones I wrote, but Shannon Tweed played in that as well. So I think it proves once again, if you're an actor, it really helps to know people who can put you into things. Because writers write to people they know well.
Sure. And then in terms of writing, did you have outside writers or did you write in-house?
Well, I wrote 7 of them, and I only was on the show for 18 episodes, so I was busy on my own scripts. As you recall, you wrote one of the storylines.
Yes, I was waiting to see if you remember.
The nepotism reared its ugly head. You had a story idea, and we ran with it. And it turned out to be a very good episode. And actually, in retrospect, you look at the episodes, they weren't that bad, but the experience of writing and producing those was probably one of the most difficult I've ever had, because there were so many chefs in that stew, so many producers looking at every line of dialogue, and then Pat Morita saying, "Oh, I can't say this." Well, he couldn't say anything in the afternoons. So it was professionally difficult, but a lot of fun because of Joe Gunn, and it was nice and local. I didn't have to travel, didn't have to go overseas or anything. It was right at Warner Brothers. We shot on stage 19.
So there was one particular guest star that you had on there that a few of your friends were really impressed with.
Oh, Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, was on the show.
But you have a great story to tell about his dad.
Several years before that, when I was a location manager at Paramount Studios, just kind of starting, this is after I'd done the stint on Mission Impossible and Mannix and The Immortal and those shows, I worked on a show called Longstreet, which starred an actor named James Franciscus. He was kind of a handsome blonde guy, very erudite. And this show was about a blind insurance investigator, a guy who had been blinded. He had a beautiful white German shepherd. He had a girlfriend, and he had a karate instructor who happened to be played by Bruce Lee. Now, this is before Bruce Lee became a very big deal. Nobody really knew who he was. He had been in the Green Hornet.
And Bob, it was before us.
It was before us, yes.
Yes.
So I was on the set of Longstreet day and night, day in and day out, and Bruce Lee had been brought in for several episodes to play the karate instructor of this blind guy.
So was Bruce tall, small, friendly?
He was very quiet. He was about 5'6". He spoke English, but you couldn't understand it very well. So he had to speak fairly slowly. He learned the scripts phonetically. We had a dialogue coach who would go over things and show him how to say these words. It was kind of cute, but it took some time. But my story is, I'm sitting on the set with a number of people, cast and crew, and the lunch break comes along. And as you know, on a studio set, everybody gets 42 minutes for lunch. You rush off to the commissary. And Bruce Lee never did that. He always stayed on the set and worked on his lines, on his pages.
Was he intense?
He was very intense, very serious, and very young. He was in his 20s at that time, late 20s. And he was about 5'6.5", 5'7", and very thin. And he was wearing like a karate gi. I think it was a black karate gi for that particular scene. I'm sitting there and I'm going over my script because I'm looking at the next locations we have to set up. And a couple of guys from the crew, I think some of the grips, who are the biggest, strongest guys usually, they're the carpenters, the guys that do the heavy lifting. They came up to Bruce Lee and they said, "So we hear you're this tough karate guy." And Bruce Lee looked up and said, "Yes, hello, my name is Bruce." And he was very, very meek and spoke very softly. And in this particular set, this is where the character was training Longstreet in karate, and there was a heavy punching bag hanging off of a chain on a rafter. And those heavy punching bags weigh about 75 pounds. They're covered in leather. It was really just a set piece. And some of these guys say, "So how tough are you, Mr. Karate Guy?" And Bruce Lee looks up and he says, "Well, I practice a lot. I have to work out a lot." They just kept goading him and goading him. And one of the guys said, "Come on, man, there's a heavy bag there. You look, you can't hit that bag, can you?" And this big guy walks over to the heavy bag and he punches it, and the bag swings up and almost hits the rafter. And this guy weighed 250, and he slams into the heavy bag. And they turn around to Bruce Lee and they say, "So, can you do that?" And Bruce Lee says, "Well, I have hit the bag before." And he's just so incredibly humble about the whole thing. And again, very quiet, and he's barely looking up from his script. Not that he's being arrogant or...
These guys are bugging him.
These guys are bugging him. It's his lunch break. He likes the solitude. He's probably meditating. And these guys come up and say, "Come on, man, show us how you hit the bag." And they just will. They're relentless. And he finally stands up, and he comes up to their chest. He's fairly small, and these are all big guys. And he says, "All right, I will hit the bag once, and then I would like to be left alone so I can read my script." And the guy said, "Oh, go ahead, man, hit the bag once." And Bruce Lee backs up. He looks at the bag. He steadies it. He backs up 3 or 4 paces. And I'm sitting there way over in the corner. And suddenly he jumps up and he kicks this bag, and the bag bursts open on the other side.
That's a big deal, right? On those bags?
It's physically impossible. He punches his foot through the bag. The bag barely moves, and it pops open. And these guys, his half dozen guys, suddenly it falls silent, and they all just turn and walk away. And Bruce Lee goes and sits back down. And
Does that mean that he could kill them?
He could put his foot through their chest.
Wow.
Absolutely, absolutely. And to me, that was just a phenomenal... the experience has really stuck with me for so many years. And at that point, now Bruce and I are the only ones left on the set because these guys have all gone off to lunch. And I go over to him and I say, that's very impressive. How'd you do that? He says, "You always kick the back of the bag," meaning you kick another 1.5 feet deep of energy. And then he and I got to be friendly.
And then, so did you kick the bag around?
I did not kick the bag.
Oh, Bob.
No, I did not kick the bag.
Show him your stuff.
But I talked to him for many hours thereafter over the course of several months, and learned that he worked out literally 5 hours a day. He did push-ups on his thumbs, and he took everything he did absolutely to the max. He was a 110% kind of person. So I was just so impressed by his humility. And he was very open with me. He told me if I wanted to learn karate, I had to devote my life to it.
Oh.
And that's why I've never become a black belt.
Did you tell him that's why you married me?
Right, right.
You're devoting your life to me.
That's right. So the guy was very impressive. And I just, you look at the success that he had immediately thereafter. He returned to China, and that's when all of his big movies came out. Enter the Dragon.
Well, there's only been one Bruce Lee.
Right.
Since then.
Right. So, from when I met him, he was barely known, and a year later he was internationally famous, and he has been ever since. Interestingly enough, I've worked with a couple of Asian Americans. Pat Morita and Bruce Lee, of course, were polar opposites, but both very, very sweet and lovely guys.
And Brandon, what was his son like?
He was fairly intense. He felt he had a lot to prove. He'd been raised by a guy who was Bruce Lee, after all.
Was he into karate?
Yeah, and very handsome. Oh my gosh, he was just a gorgeous guy. And the sad thing is they both passed away very early in life.
Tragically, yeah.
Very tragically, very tragically. So Ohara for me was a great opportunity to return to the Warner Brothers lot, because that's where Falcon Crest had been shot.
That's a great lot.
I got a better parking spot because
that's where Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood was right across the parking lot.
He has never left that studio.
Malpaso Productions
That's
is right
right.
over there. Used to see him at the commissary all the time. Very soft-spoken, nice guy. So I enjoyed the stint. As I recall, one of the executive producers was Brian Grazer, who went on to partner with Ron Howard and Imagine Entertainment and winning multiple Academy Awards. And Brian was never around. He was one of those producers who had input and we'd get script notes, but he was never around to defend his notes. So we wound up being kind of whipsawed from a story standpoint. And Ohara did one thing I thought very effectively. They went after a lot of minority casting. Richard Iniguez was in the show, Rachel Tacotin. So these are early entries into, Latin actors on television.
Well, they never called me, and I'm a minority, Bob.
Well, you better call your agent and find out why, because
that is why I was almost famous.
I would have done anything to help you, that.
Oh, yeah, right. So your next show was?
Well, from there I went to probably one of the most iconic shows ever on television, and that was Star Trek, The Next Generation.
That was a very big show.
So next podcast episode, I'll tell you everything I can.
Put on your alien hats.
Right, about working with Gene Roddenberry and that incredible cast.
I was not in that one either.
That's because you don't look weird enough.
There's always makeup.
Right.
And just a reminder to our growing audience of listeners, be sure to check out our website at wherehollywoodhides.com for show notes, photos, and the latest showbiz news. And please click on to our Amazon banners to take you directly to the world's biggest online shopping mall. I've had a blast shopping on that, saying it's for the good of our website. That's been fun. Whatever you're looking for, from books to movies to pet supplies, it's at Amazon.com. The links at wherehollywoodhides.com are the quickest way to do your shopping. So please go ahead and shop around, and don't forget to think of us.
Don't be shy.
That's right.
And if there's anything you want to see on our website, please drop us a line in the comment section, and we'll be happy to respond and see if we can't find what you're looking for.
And I want to say thank you to our audience. Every week we have more and more listeners, and it's really a gratifying feeling knowing that people out there are interested about our past, and everybody loves old TV and show business and movies.
Well, we could give a shout out to the people around the world in South Africa, Ireland, Turkey, Canada,
Mexico,
lots of folks in Canada, a number of people in Japan and Australia who have become followers of the podcast. So send us any notes or comments, anything you'd like to hear us discuss. We have an awful lot to share.
You know what's amazing is since we added the classic music notes on our website, it's unbelievable how many people have commented about what kind of music they want. One of our articles, are you a Stone or a Beatle?
Right.
We got a huge reaction because obviously there is that
There's a
debate.
There's a big debate about that, right? What's really rock and roll?
The Stones they just keep going. Mick is all over the news.
The Energizer Bunny.
Right.
So anyway, that's enough of our reminiscing. I just want to say that some of our music is by Chance McCullough. You can listen to his music at chancemccullough.com. Until next time, this is Bob McCullough.
And be good to your dog. This is Suzanne Herrera McCullough.
Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bow wow.